in free agency. A lot of it's changed. We'll dive into that. Here's a look at the big board right now. I'm calling it the big board because why not? It is big, okay? Free agents that are still available. Some of those names that are highlighted. You see on the left side of your screen, the quarterbacks still out there. Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins. Haven't talked a ton about him. What's going to happen there? You got Rashad White, running back, Aaron Jones. You've got Jawan Jennings and Stephon Diggs. Some names still out there that could make your team better. But how about when it comes to a running back that just came off the board? Isiah Pacheco going to the Lions. Adam, what's the latest there?
One-year deal for Isiah Pacheco in Detroit, Laura. The Lions traded away David Montgomery last week to the Houston Texans, needed a big physical back, and have decided to sign Isiah Pacheco, who leaves Kansas City at this time one day after the Kansas City Chiefs made their own move at running back, going on to the Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. And last year, the Chiefs had one of the worst rushing attacks in the league. They prioritized their backfield. I think there's a feeling around the league that Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, won't be around at pick number 9. And so the Chiefs make the bold move to go sign Kenneth Walker, the free agent running back from Seattle, who now will be the featured back in the Chiefs' backfield this upcoming season. As for another big-name running back, Travis Etienne leaves Jacksonville and goes to New Orleans on a 4-year, $48 million deal worth up to $52 million. He will be the newest weapon for the Saints' former rookie quarterback, Tyler Shuck. That should help out. They signed David Edwards on their offensive line as well, but Etienne returns to Louisiana, where he's from. And now that raises questions about Alvin Kamara, the longtime Saints standout running back. It's hard to imagine that the Saints are going to pay Travis Etienne what they're going to pay him and keep Alvin Kamara. His future in New Orleans is in question, maybe even in doubt. Are they going to look to trade him? Are they going to look to release him? I think when you speak to people around the league, there's a healthy dose of skepticism that Kamara will be back in New Orleans, and there's a real chance he's played his last down with the Saints.
And then you look around and say, where could he fit? We'll continue to keep an eye on that. But let's go back to the Lions moving to bring in Isiah Pacheco after they agreed to trade away David Montgomery to Houston last week. Lewis, how does that combo sound, Jahmyr Gibbs and Isiah Pacheco in that backfield?
Yeah, you can see how they're trying to marry it up because we know how Isiah runs. Isiah is really all about effort. Everything is a strain. Everything for him looks like this is the last carry of my life.
Right.
And I'm going to kind of approach it as such. What's interesting is, look, number one, look, he's had some durability issues. He's dealt with some injuries. He hasn't really been able to stay on the field. And if you watch how he plays, because of the fact that he plays so high and it's so herky, he takes some wicked shots. So you just need him to stay healthy because, look, Jahmyr now obviously is clearly the focal point, but you can't wear him out. So I think the most important thing he can bring to the table for Detroit is availability. He needs to stay on the field. And it's just interesting to me that, you know what, clearly, you know, in Kansas City, Eric Bieniemy was looking for a different style of runner because when you watch Kenneth Walker, Kenneth's kind of a glider. Even though he's so strong in his lower body, he just kind of like flows through the line of scrimmage. Isiah is just very much so. It's just like all over the place. But his competitive spirit you love, he just got to stay available.
Yeah, Lewis, I spoke to a source close to Pacheco who said that he's really happy to reset his career because he kind of felt like he got buried a little bit in that Chiefs offense the last 2 years. When I go back to that Super Bowl run, coming off the 23 season, 24 carries, 15 carries, 24 carries, 18 carries in the playoffs was helping. They were riding him to a Super Bowl in a lot of ways, and so he feels like he can go to a place where he doesn't have to take all the load with Jahmyr Gibbs there. But they're going to want to rest Gibbs and keep him fresh for the year. So Pacheco will get some runs where he has games where he can make a real impact.
How do you think he compares to what they saw out of David Montgomery? Because he got a ton of production out of Montgomery there.
I think they're going to use him in the same fashion. We got used to the Sonic and the Knuckles. They're going to have to find some new characters to try to come up with the duel. But I think to your point, Lewis, with how Pacheco runs the ball, you think about third and short. You're going to want him where they have Montgomery. You get down closer to the goal line. You're going to want a guy like Pacheco to take some of those hits away from Jahmyr Gibbs and give him that opportunity. I think with Pacheco, it goes back to kind of who he is as a person. Coming out of Rutgers, he runs the ball in the fashion of his upbringing and everything that he carries along with him. So I think it's a good spot for him. When you're a free agent, you get to choose where you're going to go. Why not go to Detroit where there's a head coach that embodies your playing style? I think it's going to be a really good fit for him.
You liked that Rutgers part, didn't you?
I was hoping somebody
Rutgers flex.
No, we couldn't bring it up. That was for you to bring up. We were going to let you do that, J-Mac. The Chiefs now, they've been busy too, okay? Let's talk about some of the moves that they've made, some players they've held on to. They're bringing back Travis Kelce and Tyquan Thornton. They added Kenneth Walker III, as we just talked about, Alohi Gilman and Kairos Tonga in free agency. But that came at a cost, right? They dealt Trent McDuffie to the Rams for 4 picks, including LA's first rounder this year, and let Jalen Watson and Brian Cook go in free agency. Now, hey, speaking of Travis Kelce, he spent some time with Pat McAfee earlier on Free Agency Frenzy. Take a listen.
It was pretty short and brief, and the Chiefs knew where I was the entire time on it. I think you always need to take a step back. You always need to take a step back, breathe, let the emotions of the season settle down and see where the body is and things like that. But I'm still in love with this game. I still love going to work, putting on the pads, grinding it out, and just, playing the game. And I think my best opportunity was playing for the Chiefs yet again and running this thing back with Pat Mahomes and Coach Reid. And the biggest thing was coming back was that we got to be even hungrier than we've been before. And talking to Pat, talking to Coach Reid and the guys, there's a lot of dog mentality right now to get this thing fixed. And that mentality itself is already kind of motivating me to get to where I need to be during the season.
Yeah, you heard some of it there with Pat, but Louis, I mean, these guys pay attention. They know what's going on. They know what's being said about them. Part of what you also heard Travis say was how excited he was that Kenneth Walker's coming into the fold. Are there still some holes that you'd like to see the Chiefs fill if they're going to really be hungry and get back to the level of play that they expect out of themselves?
Sure. Like, if you stay on the offensive side, they still have to get another wide receiver, for sure, a guy who can truly be a true number one, the kind of guy who can take hits over the middle, can win outside in the contested environment, still stretch the field vertically. They still need that. On the defensive side, at 2 levels, for sure they need someone. They need a running mate for Chris Jones. They need speed on the perimeter. And now in the secondary, look, David Merritt, the secondary coach, he's got to be looking at Brett Veach and looking at Steve Spagnuolo going, hey, man,
give me somebody.
You just took everybody from me.
They do have some picks, though, early 9 and 29 in the first round.
They do, but there's a lot of work still to be done. There's a lot of work because you know that everyone else in the AFC is catching up. They've already caught up to them. There's a reason why they're picking 9th. It's because they kind of missed on a few things. And now, I'm telling you what, Brett Veach, the general manager, is going to have a lot of long nights because he has to nail this draft. Yes. And he has to nail whoever he brings in still in unrestricted free agency.
I think you even saying nailing the draft, you talking about the picks specific to the cornerback in the secondary position. Not only nailing them, those guys are going to have to be ready to play now. And I think that's the part of it. When you watch both your corners, McDuffie, a guy that has so much versatility inside and outside, you lose him and Jalen Watson and Brian Cook. You think about a Steve Spagnuolo defense and the amount of moving parts and the complexity to it. You need guys that can come in and learn it right now and go out there and be impactful. So I think to your point, that's the scary part. I like them signing Alohi Gilman and Kairos Tonga up front. Those are guys that were difference makers on good teams a year ago. So I think that's a good addition. But losing guys.
The only thing I will say real quick, Jeremy, is that they've done this before. They won the Super Bowl with a bunch of young guys when they beat Philadelphia down in Arizona a couple years ago. It's just they're putting that on them again, that they're going to have to deliver like that again if they want to still be contenders.
Yeah, when I talk to people with the Chiefs, they bring up really that same thing that, we're going to bet on ourselves in the draft because we've done it before. We've developed young talent, and they know they need cheap labor. They'll acknowledge, hey, we're still balling, but we're balling on a budget. That's how they're feeling right now. So you saw they let the safety Brian Cook go for $13 million a year, Cincinnati. They backfill with Alohi Gilman for $8 million. So you save a little money and you get a player you like. You're going to see a lot of that. So the running back was the big spin. They're going to get some corners in the draft for sure. They have the capital now to do
doubt.
it.
Yeah, there's some good ones in this draft as well. But again, good and going to have to play immediately. It's a good point. All right, if you want the latest from Adam this week, because there's a ton of news flying around, just wrap your head around all of it. You can scan to opt in to breaking news alerts on the ESPN app to stay up to date on NFL free agency news. That's what you need to do. Get your phone out. Scan that QR code right now. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Eagles. They haven't really done much, right? They've added no free agents so far. J-Mac might have a few concerns about the defense. Adam's back to tell us more about A.J. Brown. Could he still be on the move? We talk about that and so much more. Who's still out there to make your team better? That's next.